Jamar has offered a breath of fresh air for our program. He comes in with this extreme energy and fire for his, and passion for his art of visual coordinating. It's sometimes instructors come in really harsh and negative, but he is intense, but he has a lot of fun with what he's doing. So it's been a breath of fresh air to have him around. Prior to Jamar coming, I would say our choreography level has been introductory and minimal at best. Jamar brought in a new, the new way of moving our bodies and a new way of dancing and telling the story. Marching band, on its surface level, is the music and moving and stopping, but there's more to it these days. And Jamar's been on the cutting edge with drum corps and his indoor performing groups, and he's been able to show our kids the newest and latest innovations in body and movement that can happen when you do a marching band show.
Just how enthusiastic he was to be working with all of us, but how he was also like, he pushed us real hard. You know, he started out just reinforcing the basics, but then really quickly started building on top of the basics. And then eventually we were doing stuff that like nobody thought we would be doing, but in a fun way, and we were all having a great time.
I would say like the first day we met him, we were in the gym, and he was just making us do like all these fun exercises, just like skip around the gym or just walk or run backwards or just all these random little drills. But then once he like incorporated that into like marching and doing actual choreography, it just kind of like clicked, and we were all like, this is how he wants to do it, and it just kind of worked out better, and yeah, it was fun.
Sometimes right after dinner is not the most energetic times. You know, students will come back and they'll be lethargic from whatever the meal might have been, and the students were kind of dragging a little bit, but Jamar jumped right in there, and he had a way of telling them, gathering guys, and he gathered in and he told them, look, we can either do this or halfway, or we can do it all the way. And he had a way of really reaching to them and making them want to get out of that food slumber and get into what they were doing. And it was a matter of minutes later, they were invested in body and movement and motion. So I was real impressed with his ability to relate to the students and really get into the psyche and the mind of a teenager.
I think just the way he like connected with each student and like helped us like do the choreography like in a certain way, and like how he knew how to do it, and he could just very easily teach us because he did it himself, and he could explain it well and just get us like excited and motivated for each different visual, and he just made it really fun and exciting like the whole time.
A lot of times in our show this past year, we did Beetlejuice, and sometimes Jamar would say, all right, with clarinets over here, we're gonna have you move. You have 24 counts to do this, and I want you to be zany or crazy, and here's the parameters, do this, but you have the liberty to have some creativity in what you do. So it's not that all 12 members of the clarinet group had to do the exact same thing. He actually allowed them to be a little creative in their interpretation, of course with guidance. He would then see them do it and he would go, I love it, guys, that was great, maybe try this. So the students did develop some autonomy in the show last year in being able to improvise and do things that they thought would add to the development of the show. Just seeing it all come together, you know, our show Beetlejuice offered a lot more general effect this year and a lot more fun, if you will. And when initially Jamar would work with segments here and this 12 counts here and this 12 counts there, and you'd be like, how's this all gonna come together? But by the end of the evening working with Jamar, or the end of the morning session, we'd start putting things together and watching it come together and looking at him and going, this is good. And he'd go, you like that? And I'd be like, this is fun. And he'd go, it is fun. So it was a blast.
So we were working on the Beetlejuice show at one point, and there was this one visual in the fourth movement that it was really hard. It was like we had to like do like a sachet sideways and then like rotate and like bend over backwards, but we were doing all this hand stuff too. It was like really complicated and hard, but he did a real good job of like working with us and explaining it, doing it himself, and then helping us. And if any of us had a question about it, he would like help us and like personally work through it with us so that we really got the visual. And then he just explained it in such a way that it was like exciting for us to learn, and he did a real good job of like communicating what he wanted the goal to be, so it turned out real good.
Jamar allows us to really come to the table with all kinds of ideas. He doesn't say his way is the only way. He actually listens to all the staff's input, and I've heard him on a number of occasions say, oh, that's good, I like that, and maybe if we do that, let's try this. So we don't feel like one character is monopolizing the whole program. We feel like he is a part of the staff and wants to hear from all of us in the process of building a very visually enhanced program for the show.
I think it was awesome. He did really good, kind of like taking the theme of the show and just making the general effect like that much better, taking it up to a new level. And his visuals were like exciting and fun, and it really like, I think took up the level of our band a lot more because we were having fun doing the visuals and stuff, and it was really good.
The students used to look at the music part of it and get real excited, and then when we would do choreography or drill stuff would be like, yeah, okay, here we go with this. But Jamar's fresh new look at what's innovative and cutting in the marching arts of visual side of things has my students going, is he coming back again? Is he going to be back next month? When do we get to see? Is Jamar a part of our next season? And when I get to look at them and say, Jamar's going to be with us, and see them excited over what's the show going to be? Is it going to have a lot of more cool things like we did this year with Beetlejuice?
He's also like really creative just in general though. Like most of the time marching band visuals are just kind of like, hey, let's just like squat down and tilt your upper body or something like that. But he's just got this new spin on it. And so he does a good job of taking the theme of the show, like for Beetlejuice, for example, and just making it exciting. But there were even times like when he was stumped about something and he would ask us for an idea, get the kids to get together and come up with something. And like he got us involved in even making up the visuals. So that made it a lot more exciting too. He's just like a creative guy, I don't know.
I have to say selfishly that I would love to have Jamar the whole time just for our school, but he has a lot of talent and he is able to go and work with a lot of programs. If you have the opportunity to work with Jamar, you won't be disappointed. His resume speaks for itself. Strike Winds Indoor Line is an incredible program, and all the work he's done with them and all these top-ranked high schools and drum corps, it really speaks to the quality of his ability to not only write drill, he writes drill, but he can also visually design your package of a show. As far as would he be good to come out and work with your students? Absolutely. Jamar is a bundle of energy that's contagious, and I think the students will, upon leaving, be asking the same thing my students did, is when is he coming back? So I couldn't recommend Jamar enough for everybody. He's truly a treasure that we have found at Woodstock High, and I'm so fortunate to have him as a colleague.